Right now they're telling me. Okay, here we go, Dave. Something healthy.
Welcome, everybody. Another down and dirty edition of the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Greg, son Mason with him, Mike Gerlach, Stacy, Scott Nehring. Welcome, everybody. Ryan.
How you doing?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, John.
Good start to the season anyway, huh? Everybody got their feet wet.
Yeah, we all got wet. That's the problem. Yeah, it ended. We didn't get the last class in, so that kind of stunk. But it is what it is, right? I think we did really well for what we had.
Well, I'd say that too, Greg. I think for all the rain, the pits were pretty good shape, but if you watch the track, everybody ran the same line for the most part, and that track stayed together the whole time. And it was a really good track. I thought it was a really good track you guys dealt with for the weather.
It was. I really feel like the last three guys that pulled it tonight, though, we got that. It was the heaviest mist I've ever seen, I would say. It wasn't really rain, but it was damp, right, Mike?
Yeah, it was. It was getting a little damp out there, but I don't know. For the way the spring went and everything else, I think you guys should be pretty happy you got as much done as you did. And like I said, the track I thought took some power, and you had to drive it. And I was, it was a good track overall. And
if you watch, like Mike, you watched that winner's video there too. The guys that drove it and came out, and they waited and everybody that won hit it at the right time.
Yeah, took a little luck for everyone to hit that, but that's part of our sport, having a little luck. But it was fun to get out that first pull with Badger State and get the first one out of the way and move on to the next one. But I still think you guys did a heck of a job there, dealing with the weather everyone had. So kudos to you guys.
Well, I don't know if Kathy or not, Randy Meyer had a video of us pulling the road grader down the track with a tractor at the beginning, trying to peel the mud off.
Yep.
I don't know if we have a shot of that, but that's how it was. The road grader wouldn't drive down the track when we started, and we had to pull it with a tractor to get it done. So I think it turned out all right.
Yeah, it would have been pretty easy just to give up on it, but I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, and a lot of places they had to pull the pin on that thing at 12 o'clock and said never mind, because it rained pretty hard all morning. I drove up in rain all the way to putting near the Highway 60 exit, getting over to the pole, and when I got there, that's what I got to see was the road grader heading down the track, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. But Yeah, that was a pretty good effort to get the first pole in. Looked like everybody was ready to cut them loose. That's for sure. And Scott, I guess you want to get out in the shop here pretty soon. So I think we're going to start with you tonight. Is that right, Greg?
Yep, that works for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Time.
Scott,
All
you got to
right.
do some motor work. Was that on your own truck or is that something else?
No, it's on my own truck. I got just a little bit of an oil leak coming out the front side of the head. And
Yeah. Now,
we had to head
for
off.
for those of you watching, Scott was your winner Saturday night up there at our first pole to start the season off. And now, what were you saying about your engine? You got an oil leak on her, Scott?
Yeah, we got a pretty good sized oil leak out the front of the front side of the motor, and it doesn't appear to be an oil line. It looks like it might be coming out the side of the head. So, but we just had that head off to make some changes, and it's probably suspect. That's why we have a problem all of a sudden, or something ain't sealed right, So
Yeah.
Is it an O-ringed head or a head gasket or what do you got?
a copper head gasket, but end up using some, gray silicone around the edges and around the oil ports to, something wasn't happy, or if we, missed something or had some debris in there or something,
Yep.
Or pushed it out a little bit when you warmed, you got hot or something there.
Yeah, that's the other thing about like our class, like on a track like that, it's not ideal for our two-wheel drives, but everybody had the same track. But when you have to drive it out that far, we're really leaning them out, and it's harder on the motors because it's not getting the alcohol it should be getting, like you would on wide open throttle. So the more you drive it out, the more you're leaning it out, it can be hard on stuff. But I think everybody got through it and didn't wreck anything. But it's not ideal for sure. But it's what it was anyway.
Yeah, Scott, you're referring to driving it out, and all your competitors in the two-wheel drive class that night were driving it out, and when we mean driving it out, you guys were really holding the throttle back for a long time before you went full chat on the things. I was standing there about 190 feet, I think, and Terry Timmerman was standing right there with me, and you went full throttle just about 10 feet sooner than anybody else, and I think that was the key to your victory there. But could you guys really feel that in the seat of the pants in the truck, as far as when you're starting to put the throttle down, that like, boy, I can't pin this thing or I'm gonna blow the tires away?
Well, it's really hard to refrain when you want to go, because you feel like you got to get after it to go somewhere, and then when you're in the seat, it's hard to be patient. But I could tell from the guys ahead of me that's what needed to be done to be able to get where we needed to get, and then you hope you do it at the right time to get we're to have the finish we did.
Yeah.
So
when you're faced with conditions like that, and you're watching, of course, with only 4 trucks there Saturday night, you didn't have a lot of time. But did you guys make any tuning changes to try to maybe kill the power to the motor, or not so much? You fatten it up a little bit, take some timing out of it.
We fattened it up some, but honestly, to be quite honest, watching the other guys, it tells you a lot. And then you had being late was a good number, so you could see, if you drew the first hook, you're kind of guessing at it, because it looked like it could have been better than what it was for us. When you walk it and poke it, and all that, it wasn't like it was soft. It was hard underneath, but that first few inches were a little mucky. But it's all about tires. If you could get them loaded, it'd be great. But it's
yeah. Now,
just patient enough to get some weight on them.
Yeah. Were you able to move any weight, take any weight off the front of the truck and move it to the back?
Yeah, we moved a bunch.
A bunch. How much is a bunch?
About the most we ever moved, put it that way.
Okay, gotcha.
Gotcha. I actually had that same scenario there a couple of years ago, and I think actually Greg gave me a pointer at where maybe I should go down the track, he thought, or whatever, and it worked out that time with kind of the same scenario, because we had rain that morning, and we had an idea what we might want to do just because it worked another time. So,
Right,
yeah.
Right. And everybody all night was pretty much using the same spot on the track on the starting line. That didn't change a whole lot throughout the whole evening.
Yeah, I don't think anybody dare go anywhere else unless you wanted to try to be the hero. But I I don't know if that would have worked out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Well, I want to thank John Wittenbach and McFarland's Implement for the equipment there to make this happen. You know, and Ken, you like Mike said before, the track stayed pretty good until it started raining, or until it started the heavy mist, right?
Yeah.
You know, I for what it was, right?
Yeah.
You know, we knew when we started it wasn't going to be the best track in the country, but we got it in, right?
Yeah, that's just like I said. It's just fun to get the pull in, and like I said, it was good to everyone get to go down the track. And 466s didn't get to run, but hopefully next weekend the weather cooperates and everybody gets to go down the track.
Yep. It looks good for next week, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Hey, can I get back to Scott one more time for one more thing?
I got a couple for him too.
Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead, Stacy.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just wondering, Scott, now you're going to go out there and pull that motor apart. Now, if you find something where you got to take it down further, have you got a spare motor sitting in the corner you can put in, or you got to get fixed what you got there?
Well, we got a couple, but I actually have a brand new motor that we've been building for 2 years sitting there in my possession now, but we don't have the headers done for it. So we're looking forward to bringing that out at some point, probably during I think after Macville, we have a little break before Baraboo, and we're looking forward to getting that in there. But the way my motor sits in my truck, it sits forward quite a ways. So, and we run the Zoomy headers. So they're basically, you got to custom build them around the tire, you know, to make it all fit. And so there's quite a bit of work involved in getting that done. But I do have another, basically a Vaney headed motor like I'm running as well that we could put in if we needed to. So.
Okay. So you will be ready for Saturday night pulling in Baraboo.
Oh yeah. One way or another.
Okay.
So
that's the true puller in you right there. That's for sure.
Well, Thursday night didn't have any motor in it because we had to have the other motor in to mock up the headers. So as a Thursday night, it didn't have a motor in it. So we had to, you know, we put it in Thursday night, I guess you'd say later, and then fired it Friday night. But it's pretty easy to do in those, you know. Plus the more you do it, the better you get at it, you know.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know what size wrenches you got to have for everything. Yeah.
Yep.
So when you build a header, do you take it to the dyno and make sure that header's not hurting you or it's helping you, or what do you do?
I don't know the whole technicalities of it, but like on a blown motor, it's not near as fussy as like a naturally aspirated would be. So, you know, we pretty much force the air out of it, and you know, you don't want to do any weird bends or any kind of drastic, you know, stuff. But and I know you're trying to keep them pretty even, you know, as far as length and maybe, you know, the per se the bends, you know, that you wouldn't want to add more bends on one than the other or not, you know. So
okay. So do you have a computer system that tells you the temperatures at different points in the headers, or what do you do?
We actually run all mechanical. We're, you know, we're mechanically injected, and you know, we run a mechanical boost gauge and regular mechanical oil pressure gauge, and I mean, a lot of guys do have that. We don't run it just because we've had it on other trucks, you know, other deputies trucks we've had it on. And to be honest with you, we had it and didn't use it a lot because, you know, let's face it, it's information after the fact. You know, we pretty much read plugs to you know, get our tune up, you know, and take notes, and obviously the air, you know, water drains and the elevation, and check the air and all that, notes on that to kind of know where you want to be, you know. So
Okay.
that technology is obviously out there, but it's I've had guys tell me that it can hurt you as much as it can help you in our world, you know.
Sure.
It makes you too many choices then.
Yeah. Yeah, Heavy's on there and said over engineering. He's got it right, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Scott, if you don't mind me asking, how much overdrive do you run on that thing regularly, or ballpark, as much as you want to tell us?
It's in the low 50s.
Okay.
So we don't have any restriction on it, but you know,
Right.
they say the better blower you have, you know, the less you'd have to run, which is it's a true statement. And of course, you know, we don't really change that per track because it's, you know, you don't have all that stuff with you to do that, you know, when you get there and all that. But we basically, it might change our timing a little bit or fuel setting, basically, just like you would on your mini.
Okay. Yeah,
Do,
sure.
do you want to explain what overdrive is for the people that aren't, familiar with it?
It's
When
basically,
you talk about
do you want to, Stacy, or you want me to?
Oh, no, you go ahead, Scott. You betcha.
Overdrive is basically your ratio of your pulleys. There's a pulley chart that tells you, what your overdrive ratio is, and that's changed by the teeth on the pulley, basically. So you can, there's some point where they're inefficient if you overdrive them too much, and it's hurting you more.
So Scott, how many horsepower do you think it takes to drive the blower?
I've been told around 500 horse just to turn the blower. So, there again, we haven't been on a dyno or anything like that. So we don't really have but that's what people say in the race world, race car world. So
for instance, like he said, he's running low 50s. So if you just want to take odd numbers, if you just took 50% overdrive, that's what the blower's 50% overdrive. So if he's turning 8,000 RPM, that's basically 12,000 RPM at the blower, because it's half of what the crankshaft's spinning. So 50% of 8,000 is 4,000. So that's 12,000 RPM that blower is spinning at that pulley.
You're pretty good on your Stoughton math there, John.
Right. He must not have went to Stoughton.
I
Nice
got
talk,
samples
man.
that I can count.
It surely isn't bareboat math, right, Scott?
yeah, right.
So now you've perked my interest up, Scott. You perked my interest up a little bit. Now, the new motor that you got going together, can you give us a couple sneak peeks on what that is, that it requires a whole different set of headers built for it?
It's a brand new Brad Anderson built engine. Steve Olson out at Simon's built it for me.
Okay.
It's been in the process for a while, and parts were hard to get, and it just all takes time. And we weren't without motors, so we've been kind of just hanging in there, waiting, and that's where my other motors have come from. So I trust his judgment and what works. We're going to give it a whirl. There's not a lot of two-wheel drive guys that have that combination in their truck. There's a few, and so we're anxious to give it a whirl and see what it'll do.
And how many cubic inches are you guys running? I know 526 was real popular for a long time, but I think you guys you're got them up better than that nowadays.
Yeah, we can be up to 575. A real common one is like what I have in there now is a 526.
Okay.
The new one's actually a 564, and that's real common cubic inch. And I think like the guys with Minor Brothers are 557, I believe, or right somewhere in that range too. They're all pretty close, but so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, very good.
All right. So then tell us, I didn't even recognize your truck when it came. What else did you do to it this winter? I thought, well, that blue one was Scott's, and then you said it's a red one now. And I guess I'm sorry I didn't realize that you had a new truck.
Not only that, Greg, you're behind because I had that body all last year.
I mean, you're late.
Yeah. And Scott, was that just a new body you put on the chassis you had?
Yes, that's correct. And Timmermans did it for me, which it's a testament to our class and our pullers that we get along great. But when it's time to pull, we're going to pull and kick each other's butt if we can. But afterwards, we're all, whether it's Beaner or Ethan or Deputy, myself or Timmermans, and I really enjoy that part of it. That we all can work together, get along, and makes it.
And it looks like one of your competitors there, Ethan and Beaner, there, they've stepped up their game, gone away from the wedge head motor, and got themselves a Hemi in there now. So. They're going to have to be taken seriously all the time.
Yeah, they're gonna have their turn, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Is that an old Sullivan chassis?
Yes, it is. That is one that they had built. I don't even know how long ago, probably in the 2010, 2012 range, I think.
Yeah.
Tim Messner had it.
Yep.
Oh,
I
okay.
think what it was called.
Donnie liked that chassis. I talked to him, and he said one of his old chassis were up by us, and then got it figured out that you were the one that had it. And he says, "Yeah, that's a good old chassis, boy. That thing hooked straight, always hooked good." Yeah.
Yep, and we've made some updates to it through Modern Machine with Brad Corporal, and he
Yeah. Now,
that 57 is a modern chassis, so
yeah.
the
Now,
update that truck got when it was built, mine got in their shop as well. So it was adding new improvements to an older chassis, but it's
yeah.
it made every little thing makes it work a little better.
Now,
Yes.
Scott, I got another question for you, Scott. As we're talking, and this is going on in the big tractor world also now. Tires. You guys got a choice of tires now in the two-wheel drives that you didn't have before last year. What are you running? Are you on Mayhills or Nichols?
I'm on Mayhills.
Okay.
The Nichols, weren't readily available or aren't readily available yet, I believe. Guys are getting them, and it'll be interesting to see what that tire will do. When you watch some other polls in the country and you're watching the top 5, and you're hoping that one tire is not dominating, and lately it's been mixed up. So, like Sullivan had that poll, their Memorial poll here, beginning of May here, and I think the top 5, 4 of them were Nichols, but the one that won was Mayhill. So at least you don't see a trend of all like Nichols or all Mayhill. So that's the biggest concern for us, because it's you don't mind buying them if you can get them and if that's what you need. But if one tire you can't get it, that's it's kind of rough till you get your hands on it. I mean, same thing.
You don't want to buy the wrong ones, right?
Pardon, Greg?
You don't want to buy the wrong ones, and everybody's in the same boat. You stand there and say, which ones should we buy?
Well,
right.
The problem with the old tires, and at my shop, I got 3 sets of my own and probably 4 sets of Deppies, and they're basically obsolete when they come out with this wider tire last year. So I always joked we got enough tires for a big silage bag, laying around, and they're
Right.
you pretty much you can maybe give them away to somebody, but they're not worth anything. And I think we got a set there. It's got 1 or 2 runs on it, but it's if you're going to compete, you better same thing with the tractors. You better have the tire that's working.
Yeah, because the story on the tires, if I'm right, Scott, was when Nichols came out with his, they were physically bigger. They were built to the dimensions of the tire. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And then Chad redid his molds. The Mayhills, they redid their molds to take it to the limit of the dimensions also. So all the new tires are physically bigger.
Yeah, they end up being Mayhills were 1.5 inches wider. He had to basically revamp his mold and add 1.5 inches in them, and everybody's playing with different ways to cut them now, and what works.
Did
Mayhill does something a little different than what Korth does, and so on and so forth. And Hawthorne probably would do different than they did.
Now, did that change of tires with the tires being bigger like that? Did that necessitate some changes on your truck as far as getting them to fit, including the frame rails and everything?
Yeah, we put some good marks in the new tires hitting the body, because you didn't know exactly how much you needed to cut out, and of course you don't want to cut too much out and have it look goofy. So there's like 3 or 4 different times we had to take a little more and take a little more, and grooved a couple tires over it. And early on when we had that body on, you'd see a puff of smoke here and there. I think maybe Macville last year was one of them where you'd see it going down the track and you get a bounce. It got into the fiberglass a little bit, but it didn't hurt anything. But it's obviously you don't want that chewing your tire up.
Right.
So speaking of Macville, that's going to be the first time you get to really, because it's going to be a Champions Tour pull up there too. We're co-sanctioning it with them too.
Yep.
So you get to hang out with the big boys up there, right? Or maybe you're the big boy. I don't know, but we're going to see, right?
No, we're looking forward to it. We like to one thing about it, like Hillsboro and there, it gives us an opportunity to somewhat make ourselves better if you can try to compete with them, and you learn stuff from watching them. And there's some tough competition out there, and it's, in all the classes, it's hard. Doesn't seem like anybody can dominate all the time because there's a lot of good iron out there, and there's a lot of variables, obviously. So, but we look forward to Macville every year, and then this makes it a little sweeter this year with obviously Champions Tour being there.
Yeah, they want to mix it up every couple of years now.
Looks like you got put.
Sorry about that. My phone just rang.
Lights went out.
That's what I'm using.
I got a good storm going on outside right here too.
Did this before.
Yeah, but yeah, with the Champions Tour being with you guys up at Macville, we're going to see at least a good strong 20 two-wheel drive trucks there, Scott.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We really like we like the one Fox too. I like that big track record. Caribou we look forward to, and then now Champions Tour being up there is we're pretty much waiting patiently to get there. So
yeah, right, yeah, very good. I guess that's all I got for you, Crazy Scott.
Yep. Well, Scott, I had one question there about the new your chassis. We did talk about your chassis, the sheet metal's the same and all that. How about Willie? Is he coming along with his the Dave's old truck? What's going on there?
It's ready to go. It'll be out this weekend.
Okay.
It's got a fresh motor in it. Ironically, the last time it saw when we didn't have a very good track, that motor come apart and then was sent out and got fixed. They have two motors as well. And now that motor's back in the truck and ready to go. And it was it'll be ready to rock and Baraboo. I'm not sure if Tim's driving or Willie, but one of them is.
Well, I'd like to see Tim in the seat once again. He's getting old, he might not make it down there very often anymore.
Oh, we got a little bit to get in the seat, but we need to keep him involved. So.
Yep. We got to get him off the boat up there. All he goes up there and does drink coffee is what Willie says.
I don't think it's coffee. Maybe in the morning.
With Bailey's in it.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Well, good luck, Scott, tearing your motor apart. I hope you don't find anything seriously wrong with it. And I know I look forward to seeing you up in Baraboo on Saturday for the big benefit pull.
Yeah, we wouldn't miss it for the world. We'll definitely be there.
Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it a lot.
And thank you guys for everything you're doing. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks a lot, Scott.
Yep. We'll move on to Mike here. Mike, you got a couple big wins in the last 2 weeks here, right?
Yes, we did. We had a good start of the season there. Kind of want to back up here to, I don't know, whenever they started the voting of that poll, it was kind of interesting. It was fun to get voted in, and the way they did it was pretty neat. You get a lot of more people involved than you realize that's out there, and it made us feel pretty good to be part of it, and kind of get you incentive to get the tractor ready and get going. And hats off to the guys here. We kind of debated whether we should be going or not with the weather, planting corn, everyone's doing, but everyone said, no, the tractor's going. So the guys stayed home and planted corn and did a good job and got it done. And my wife and I and one of the kids and one of the grandkids went down there, and we had a good weekend and kind of had some self-inflicted problems there Friday night, getting the tractor ready and put some water lines up the wrong way here. But it didn't hurt nothing, and got that fixed up with the Lemke's and came over and helped us. And we thought it was the Simpson valve was bad, but now we just had some water lines hooked up wrong and came out Saturday night and kind of redeemed ourselves. So went pretty good.
And when you say, Mike, when you're saying you had water lines hooked up wrong, water injection, I'm sure you're talking about.
Just off the pump down below there, we had the suction line was on the return was on the other one, and it looked like it was returning water in the tank, but I think it was just blowing some air in there, and luckily it didn't hurt nothing, and just about 5 minutes with the wrenches down there, swapped them out, and we was good to go. And I just want to thank Robbie and Esden, and Bob was there to help us and kind of figured it out, and so we were good to go.
Do them lines have labels on them now? R for return and S for supply?
They'll be color coded, but like I said, we didn't get the motor back till Tuesday night, and had to put it all in the tractor and with planting corn, and it was just a simple mistake. I mean, it happens, and it's just one of them things. So we're just glad to go, and we had a good time down there, and they do a really good job. And I hope to get back down there again. It was a well-run pull in the track and a good crowd too for both nights.
And they're getting better. I mean, it's getting bigger, like we said all the time. And
it is. And
yeah,
they're promoting the heck out of it, and they're getting a lot of sponsorships, and they're very aggressive down there, and pushing it. And it's fun. It's fun to be part of something like that.
It is. It's fun to. It's just a terrible time of the year. That's the problem for us.
It is, but
you make it work.
You make it work, yes, and you're thankful for your help at home, and we got a great group of guys that were willing to stay home, and they didn't complain and nothing like that. They just did a great job, and very proud of them for helping us do what we do.
Who all went with you down there?
Just my wife Teresa and my one daughter and my one grandson. So Teresa did a heck of a job helping us with the tractor, and we had a good time.
Good. So explain to people how you get into that event.
Well, to start out, I think the Hoselders and their group, they pick a small handful for each class, 2 or 3, depending on the class size. Then they open up, I believe, to all 4-1 tractors in the country, I think, and then fans get to vote. So you log in, you do your voting, and they can vote as many times as they want, or they can vote for as many tractors per class as they want. And then you just keep voting, and they do a 1 round, and they kind of do a preliminary round, and then they come back with less tractors to vote on. And we were fortunate enough to make it to the 2nd round, and had a lot of friends and family that voted for us and made us feel pretty good when they called our name out that night to say we were part of it.
Yep. And I think like the fans, you vote every day for your tractor. You can vote once a day, right?
Every 24 hours, you can put a vote in, yes.
Yeah, it's like Chicago. Vote early and vote often, as
Yep.
they say.
Right. Every day.
It's fun to be. It was pretty neat to watch this happen, and I hope they continue doing it. And like I said, it gives everyone an opportunity. And for some reason, if you get voted in, you can't go. That they move on to the next person in line that maybe got the next set of votes.
That's what happened to me last year. I was like in 11th place or something, and Steve Wishmeyer, one of his tractors, was voted in. And he said he wasn't taking it, so that bumped me up into the 10th place, and I did get to go. So
they really treated you well down there. They had, the good hospitality, and like I said, I hope we can be part of it again next year.
Yep, it's fun. It's a long ways down there. It's a long ways.
It is. It was 6 hours for us, and we got a lot of interstate. But like I said, that's part of it. You adapt to it and you do it, and and if you want to be part of it, you do that stuff.
Yep. So let's move on to Saturday night, and what did you do anything different or
Saturday night we brought the tractor home after Nashville and looked everything over. The turbo was fine. Everything checked out fine. Ran it a little cool down there, so we adjusted our water a little bit and just had a nice setup for Saturday night. Like I said before, the track, I really felt the track was a good track. It stayed together, and everyone ran the same line, so the track stayed good. And Corey and my son Trent decided this is what we're going to do, and we stuck with it. And like you said earlier, you had to drive it out of the hole a little bit and hit the throttle, and we just got lucky and had a good setup.
Yeah, and
I believe there's a 25-foot window in there when you had to hit the throttle.
And it's easy to watch the other drivers and see when it is, but when you're in the driver's seat, you have no idea. You go by feel. You can't watch the sidelines left or right. Hopefully you just get lucky and hit it right. And I think we just had some luck on our side, and it felt in the driver's seat. It felt good. So I don't know how good it was, but it felt like a good one.
Well, you get scared because you got to wait and wait and wait. But if you wait too long, you're under the turbo and it's not going to go.
Exactly. It did chirp a little bit at the starting line coming out that easy. It got a big gulp of water there. I could hear that in the helmet. And at first I thought something was wrong, but it came out of it and we were fine.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Like I said, it was we ran in a lot of rain all the way up there, and it was glad to see you guys continue to work at it and get the pull in, because it really hard on a fair to have a pull canceled and you go all through the work and you can't do it. So
right. Everybody we work with pushes to get it as far as you can. Guys always come up, they say, you should cancel us. I'm going to let them try it.
Yep.
Get it done. And if it don't work, we'll call it at the last minute. We're all here anyways, right?
Right. And the pits were in good shape. You know, the grass was solid. Nobody had a hard time getting out when they wanted to leave. You guys put the bark down where the scale was, and really there wasn't, you know, you didn't have mud on your tires or nothing. I mean, it turned out really good.
Yep. Thanks,
Mike, did you make any major adjustments to the tractor to dial it in for the track conditions on Saturday night as they
No,
was
I think we stuck. No, because like I said, it took a lot of horsepower, so I don't think you could have backed out of it any. It was just all in the throttle and the clutch. You just had to hit it right, and we were fortunate enough to do that. But once you got going, you needed all the power you had to. You know, that track has always had a spot about 150 foot where she hooks up and going, and you need that weight up front. And every time we've pulled up there, that's always hit that spot, and your front end comes up, and you got to be ready for it. And
that was going to be my question. Did you pull a couple of weights off the front just before you hooked?
Our tractor does not run very good when the front end's up in the air, so we keep everything up front the best we can. We just have to.
Good. You drop the air pressure down in the tires a smidgen, or
no? We're trying to keep everything the same and just give it a couple runs, and then we'll do some adjustments after that and just kind of see what's going on. But so I think we're pretty set up. We brought it home Sunday, and computer was good, filters are good, and we're just gonna clean her up and have get up there and get a good spot for next Saturday and enjoy the day.
Very good. Good.
You know,
your class, Mike, has really gravitated towards the Parks tires, I do believe. Am I correct on that?
It's kind of a fad, you know. Everyone, you know, what you see someone has it the year before and it works, and everyone kind of want to go towards that. And I think probably 90% of the guys have them, and they seem to be working pretty good. But also the other tires work good too. So it's just what you have to make it work, and I think everyone is able to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You had a set of pro pullers on before, did you not?
Yes, we did. Yep. Okay. We got them sold early before all this was going on, so we got lucky that way. I didn't say we got a lot for them, but we don't have them here now, so that's the main thing.
Right.
I think right now in the classes it's either Mitas or Pro or Parks, right?
And I think they're both going to work. They're both going to have their positives and negatives depending on the track and the type of soil and the weather conditions and the tractor itself. So you just pick one and you make it work.
That's what I always said. You know, we're pulling on dirt. No two tracks are the same, and it's always different. Yeah, and I found that a lot of guys, you know, when they got a lot of different stuff they can change. They change too much, and they never catch the right setup on the right track. You know,
you don't know which one helped you or did not help you, and then you don't know which way to go backwards. So you just need to do one thing at a time. And
right. Yeah. And it takes a long time at that one thing at a time to get it done.
It is, and it's a hard thing to discipline yourself on, but that's what you need to do is one at a time. And you know, it's always, you know, Sunday when you get back home there, you can always second guess yourself, and it makes for a long week if you went the wrong way.
Right, but the one thing we've kind of taken out of the guessing anymore is going to the dyno.
Yeah,
you go to the dyno and you know your motor's there, right?
We went to dyno this year for the first time in a couple of years, and I'm glad we did. Robbie made some adjustments for it, and he's learning with his dyno, and I think it really helped our motor this year for getting us tuned up a little sooner than just going down the track. I think that way. So I was glad we did this year. Right,
but I think the dyno gets that part of it done.
Yes,
but now you're talking tires and gearing and weighting.
Yep.
You know, right?
Yes, exactly.
And you can't get that anywhere but on the track.
Right. You can have all the power you want, but you need to do all three of them other things to make her go down the track, and that's part of that's what makes it fun. It's in your hands now. You need to drive it. You need to weight it. You need to have someone help you on the track where to go and this and that. So that's the fun part of it too.
Right. And I've got Mason here with me tonight, you know, and they broke an ejection line.
Yep.
Their first attempt.
Right.
And you want to say anything about him?
I'd like to thank Mike and their crew for getting us going again.
Yeah, Mike had what we needed.
I couldn't quite hear Greg. I was in the driver's seat, had my helmet on. He asked if he had an injector on it. Yeah, and I just kind of pointed, trailer's over there. Grab what you need. And I'm glad, you know, they were pretty much pre-bent for our tractor, and I'm glad they worked for you. And, you know, that's that's what you got to do, though, you know, because there's going to be a time where we're going to need a hand, and you sure don't want to be the guy that doesn't help anybody. You'd be sitting all alone, and that's not a good feeling.
Right. So our question is, who are we drinking? Your beer this year or our beer?
Well, as of right now, we're drinking.
We're drinking
That kind of started last year a little bit, and we kind of ended up parking by each other. I don't know if that's coincidence a lot or what it was. It kind of had a running joke that, you know, the points, whose beer is drinking whose. But I think as long as one of us has beer, we both are always going to have beer. We're going to have a good time. That's like, but it's a fun little joke we have. You know, we kind of see each other the first time for that day at the pool, and we kind of snicker, and we know what we're snickering about. And yeah, I got beer, you got beer. We'll drink yours or ours. But that's another fun part of it too, kind of joking each other around.
It is. I really think that went back to the time we went from way up north to the pool. I forget where we were. Way up north.
You're talking like Marshfield or something? We were way the heck.
Yeah, it was not Marshfield. It was above Stevens Point there where starts with an M. You're right there, but I don't think it was Marshfield. It was.
You're talking about when my son Trent was with us and everything else?
Yes.
Oh,
and Dirk
geez.
and I got down there in the morning, and we drove all the way from wherever the two-wheel drive truck puller had the strip joint in that town. And we drove that night all the way down to Henry, Illinois.
Yes.
We got there at 4 in the morning, and we both parked, and we said, hey, we opened up the cooler of beer, and there was all bottles of beer perfectly sticking out, just like an ad on TV, right? Sticking out of the ice.
Yep.
And we decided we should have one. Well, 4 hours later, we were still doing it.
Yep. The sun was coming up, and we started to go to bed, and I don't know how old Trent was. He was with us, and I think you told him or someone told him, don't tell your grandpa this and that, but I'm sure he found out, but it was all good. That's what makes it fun, you know, just not the pulling part, but the other things we do along with it. So
It was.
Yep.
It is.
You know, you're talking probably 20 years ago already and you're still talking about that stuff. So that
For sure.
shows you how much that means to everybody.
Yep, it did. It meant a lot to all of us. And that was 20 years ago. And that was one of my best memories of in Badger State.
We still talk about it. Yep. And I hope our younger generation keeps talking about that stuff too. That's what keeps it going.
Yep. Yep, it does. It will. It will. They're doing it. I think so.
Anyone that's involved with it now that our families or young ones coming up, they get what's going on, and so that's good.
They all work hard and they get there. They all bust their butts to get there and be part of. They enjoy being part of what's going on. Yep. So I've got a lot of questions. I've got Mason here because there's a lot of people texting me. What colors of the tractor going to be? They seen some new sheet metal on it. This weekend, they left Wildman's at 2:00 in the afternoon.
It was like 4
or 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And Craig was putting the last piece of sheet metal on as you were driving out the driveway.
Yeah, we were loading it up and clipping the last piece of sheet metal on it for the first time.
Yep, it stayed on.
You guys gonna paint that eventually? The one solid color?
Yep, we're probably gonna do it all red. We're thinking so.
That's another thing, to our class, the 4-1s, there's a lot of, you got Kevin's with the white and different ones, but then the new help me out here.
Adam Stevens.
Yes, that is one beautiful looking tractor, and we don't see too many black ones out there, but that is going to catch everybody's eye, and there's going to be a lot of people looking at that. That thing is really sharp. Kudos to him and whoever he had work on with him, and that thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was talking to Adam about that before the pull up there, and you're right, Mike. It is a very sharp looking tractor.
It's very clean. It's very clean looking. There's not a lot of writing on it, but that's what I personally like, and it is very. You don't need all the flashy stuff, but that thing is really, really cool.
He commented that last year when it was just raw aluminum, he goes, I really didn't care if I got fingerprints on it or smudges or dirty, He says, now I got to be careful around it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And what a great guy to add to the class, right?
Yes.
What a great guy to add to the class.
It is. You have he's been in it for a couple of years, and he got in a good class with us, and he's got a great looking tractor, very competitive, and just a down to earth group of people that comes with him, and he fits in real good. And our class is growing, and very, very proud to be part of it.
Yep. There's Adam Stevens watching. He says thank
You bet.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll see some new ones down the road. You know, it just takes time for everyone to do it and this and that, but it's fun.
It is fun. And it's fun to get new guys in there and they
Yes.
fit in well, you know, and you're part of the group and you're just having fun. People are shy because they think Badger State's this big deal, right? Sometimes. No. It's just a bunch of farm boys getting together and doing this, but then we're having fun after
Yes.
that, right?
Oh yeah, I think everyone says that, and I think Scott Nehring said that earlier. You know, yes, we're very competitive. I mean, we're there to want to win or do the best we can, but we're also there to help and have a good time and enjoy it and move on to the next one. You know, our goal is to be able to pull at the next one. So you do what you can do, and you should be glad we're able to do this, no matter what level you're at. I mean,
Right.
not
every
everyone
guy
gets.
there,
So
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, and every guy there will help the other guy get there.
Yeah, and so that's what you need to do, because you need you know, if you're the guy helping, you're going to need help sometime, or the other guy is, and you don't. That's maybe you're stuck along the side of the road going to a pole or something. It's just not at the pole, so there's a lot of different things that you can help out with. And
Well, a couple years ago, I was on my way to Macville, and Beaner, the two-wheel drive truck guy, was stranded along the road, and I stopped and helped him get his tires changed. He blew a tire on his trailer, and we stopped and helped him get him there. And I said, "Hey," he said, I always thought everybody drive right by me. I said, "No, we're not going to do that." I seen who it was. Yeah.
right, so
Yep. We got him going and got him up there.
that's good. So
Yep,
now we're
it's fun.
looking forward to the Saturday with all the classes and the benefit poll, and everyone's glad to be part of that. And the Calcutta, when do you decide what class you're using for the Calcutta?
I pretty much always do the pro stocks because the guys that are bidding ask for it.
Sure.
You know.
Okay.
So and there's not too many tractors in it. It's a
Right.
big show.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be hard to do a class with 15 tractors in there.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Wasn't last year one of your biggest draws of the money for the Calcutta?
$54,000 for 6 tractors.
That's amazing. That
That was crazy. Yeah. Yep. So we're doing them again. You know, I plan on doing the pro stocks again.
No, it makes sense with that numbers.
It's for you. You can't say I want to switch it, right?
No.
I don't, and I'm not saying just because I'm in the class, but it's just what, because we invite them bidders back. Once you bid on or buy a tractor at Badger State, we always send you free tickets.
Sure.
This year we started. This is the first year we did it. We sent 2 tickets to the banquet to every person that bought a tractor. You know, just so they could see where their money went, you know, and I want to thank Chris Feller kind of started that last year at $15,000.
Yep.
You know, for the first tractor, and Tim
Deppy.
And Tim Deppy, Tim Deppy bid him up to it.
Tim bought one for 20.
Got Tim bought one for 20, you know, and
Holtz.
Yep. Holtz builders out of the Dells, and a couple other people bought them up there, and it was just I want to thank all them guys, and now off the top of my head I can't remember them all, but you know, even Avery bid
We were bidding against Tom Holtz.
Tom Holtz, yeah. Avery bid Tom Holtz up, and Avery's got to think he got me out of that.
I'm more nervous doing that than pulling.
Yeah.
You could actually hear the people in the crowd every time a bid when it got that high. The people in the crowd were I don't know what they were talking about or whatever, but you could hear the crowd just clapping or whatever every time a bid came up. It's pretty neat.
Yep. I'm really looking forward to next weekend too. And my favorite pull of the year, though, personally, is Macville, because I get done with these first 2, you know, and that one is such a relaxing weekend to go up there.
Yep.
And just pull, right? They do the stuff. We don't have to do as much work.
Yeah, they're really involved with that. Yeah. Hands on.
Yep. You know, the benefit pull is a great pull, and it is. But to me personally, because the benefit pull is a lot of work. You know, I'm just saying, I get up to Macville and I can get relaxed and just stand around and talk to people. I'm not running like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yep.
You know, I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. You know, it is so much fun. But the benefit pull in my heart is my favorite pull.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what it means to have that pull, and So.
Yep. And we, you know, and the price of our classes has gone up. It's hard to, you know, people don't realize that if they don't make money, we're not coming back. Right. Right. If they lose money on us, they won't have us back. So we always have to make sure they make money.
Yep.
You know, that's the key. Warren's the same way. You deal with Warren, right? And
right. Yep. Every place needs to make a little money, and so they can, move on for the next year.
And they have to make enough money to feel it was worth their effort.
Right. That's just it. You just don't want to do it to break even or just feel like they're spinning their wheels a waste of time. It's got to be a positive.
My biggest disappointment is somebody hires us and they did not make money. Right.
Right. You kind of feel like you didn't do it, fulfill your agreement with them, but yeah.
Yeah, we didn't provide what they needed.
Right.
Yeah. So. Right. So. I don't know. Anybody else got any questions for Mike or Mason here? John, you've been pretty quiet.
You guys have been rolling right along. I haven't even been able to interject. But I've been
Interject stuff now. Here's your time.
It's good. It's all good. No, congratulations, Mike. Boy,
Thank you.
I watched both passes afterwards, and boy, you got things working good for you, and hopefully you can keep that mojo rolling for the.
We got working with good people, and you get good results. Is all I can say. And you can't do it by yourself, obviously, and I wouldn't want to, and that's no fun either. So. It's a whole family thing for us. Our family's growing with the grandkids and everything. And then, like I said, work with the good motor people and the fuel people, Fair Valley and Lemke's. And, you got to have good people around you. You're not going to be successful. So that's about all there is to that. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, and I'm sure Gerald's watching down.
Oh, yeah.
On your successes since
last year, our first pull without Dad at Baraboo, we had a malfunction too, and then we did it again down to Nashville. So I think he's probably making us work for it. Just nothing's going to be easy, but that's okay too. It kind of gut checks you a little bit.
And you don't want it to be easy.
No.
You don't want it to be easy. You want to make it mean something.
Your performance on the track and your family and your whole crew is making him very proud up there. There's no question about
Thank
that.
you. Yep.
Like up there at Sox Saturday night when you were coming up, the truck, our announcing stand, the truck, all of a sudden I didn't have no room to walk around. It was full, everybody, all your crew was up there.
No,
that's cheered on.
That's what's fun too. Our my son and my daughter, and then they're married and got kids now. And we got grandkids, and it's just a lot of people involved, and that makes you feel good to be part of it too. That we all can do it together, and so that's pretty rewarding.
Yeah,
I always enjoy talking to your crew, your sons and Corey and the whole crew.
Yeah, Corey's a huge part of this. He gets everything ready at home for the most part, and then at the reads the track good, weights it, and everything else. So like I said, it takes. It don't sound like it should take a lot of help for people, but it does. You got to rely on them and trust them, and that's what we do.
Yep.
When's Corey going to get in the seat this year?
He gets to drive in Monroe quite a bit because a lot of his family's in the area, and then I think we're going to be on vacation for Edgerton. I think he's going to have it up there, and then we'll see how it goes after that.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, yep.
We're going to get some secrets out of Corey then in Edgerton.
I don't know. I hope not. There is no secrets. There is no secrets at all.
Be drinking out of Greg's cooler that night.
Yeah, I bet he will be. Yep. Yep. So no, we're happy for the season. It gets pretty crazy in the spring, but everyone's that way. But when you can get your tractor or truck going, and it's kind of feels good to be able to move on every weekend. You kind of know what your schedule is now, and so it's makes the week go by pretty fast, but yet you kind of get things ready to go. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, you're talking about scheduling and thing. Will you do any pulling outside of Badger State or just strictly going to run to Badger State?
We like to go to Toma because a lot of our friends go up there. So we plan to go to Toma. It's just a fun weekend for us. We'd like to go to some other places, but the travel is hard for us right now. And then we'll probably go up to Hillsboro. Is our plan. And then
I just reserved 3 campsites at Hillsboro.
Yep.
Yep.
Hillsboro is one of the polls that's really, when you say you want to go to a poll, Hillsboro's one, but they're all fun to go to because they all got their different atmospheres and different places you go and the people, and you just look forward to every one of them. I do anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hillsboro's really gotten to be a destination poll, right?
Yep, I think so. Yep.
Every year, it's-
Hillsboro definitely has. I kind of go by the campers there. You know, the first year they had camping there, I think they had 3, maybe 5 campers there, and now there's many. I don't know if they got 100, but there sure is an awful lot of campers there now.
Yep.
Yeah, the Slamas, they put a lot of time in that too, but it's year-round time they got to do. You just don't 2 months ahead of time. You just don't start working on it. It's one that the next day after, that Sunday when everyone's going home, making plans for next year, and that's how you be successful.
Well,
So
the
you
gravel
say that-
pit area that Don's built there and getting it all. I mean, it's one of the when they do the drone shots of tractor pulls. That's the one I'm always most impressed with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
And
of
this
the whole area.
And I think they've dealt with the weather before. Now they've seen, if you adjust to the weather, you can still have the pull. If your pits are in proper condition, you can still have the pull. You can deal with the track. You can grade the mud off, but you get, if they can have the pits ready, you can have the pull if the weather turns sour.
Yep. Well, I think our time is up here.
Okay.
I really want to thank you for being on. This is one of our best shows, I think. I don't know what you guys
Enjoy
think.
doing it.
Yep. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for your support, and
Yep.
thanks for being part of Badger State. And
Thank you guys.
Your dad was one of the first members in Badger State, I think, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, he was. He started with Bruce Bjorgi and Dave Neff, and way back when, and Jerry Scott, and
50 years ago.
50 years ago, you betcha. Yeah.
We still got pictures. We look back at them pictures, and it's crazy how things have evolved, but yet it's pretty neat how they started out, and so.
Yep. And how them fans still come around. There's still people that come up to me and say, "Hey, I pulled the Badger State in 1978 or 81 or something," and just, "Hey, cool. What'd you have?" And I asked them, "What'd you do? What'd you pull?" and all this. And their classes we don't even have anymore, but
right.
It was fun to listen to them.
Yep. And everyone's still involved. That's the cool thing about it. They may have not pulled for 20, 30 years, but they're still involved one another, and they just got the memories of it. And that's what's pretty neat.
Yep.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your big win Saturday night.
Thank you. Appreciate it,
Mike, and good luck this coming Saturday up in Baraboo. I look forward to seeing you up there.
All right,
and your whole entourage.
We'll see everyone up there. You betcha.
Yep. Thanks, Mike. We'll see you up there, and we'll have a new fuel line for you.
There you go. Thank you.
So everybody, remember the charity poll this weekend starts at 6:00, right, Greg? Sharp.
I think it is. Yes, it is. Pullers need to be there a little early to get in, and more teching. With all the stuff that's going on, we have more teching. So
what time are we starting to Calcutta, Greg?
I don't have the class order picked out yet, so I don't know. It'll be right before the Pro Stocks poll. So
okay, it won't be before the whole event.
No. It'll be during the show, just like it always is. And we have a family to come out on the track and talk and tell their story again. So
okay.
A couple auctioneers here too, it sounds.
We did, but they backed out on me.
Oh.
So if anybody's an auctioneer and want to be part of this and help us out, let us know.
Yep. So we also want to thank our great sponsors that help us out: Front Street Toys, Casper Egg, Salama Enterprises, and Trip Downing Farms that help us with the Down and Dirty show all the time. So thank everybody for coming on and watching us every week. We'll do a little recap next week of the charity poll. Good luck, Mike. Thanks for coming on with us. Well,
on one more thing, Front Street Toys donated some toy tractors to the Children's Hospital to sell. So I want to thank Matt Castor for that too.
Good
so
deal.
If he's watching, I want to thank Matt for that too.
Awesome.
We'll get it all taken care of.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See everybody next weekend.
Yep.
Have
We'll
a
see you
great
this
night.
weekend. Hope to see everybody up there this weekend.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Sounds good.
Bye.